If you've been into Star Wars for quite some time now, chances are you've heard of a Master Builders set. And all that really means is it's a combination of everything that goes into the scene. We've seen Endor is an honorary Master Builders set. Hoth is probably the least favourite. Cloud City is a legend. And recently we had Mos Eisley, which I've built here on the channel many times. And the minifigures from that are amazing. So if I'm going to build a Master Builders display for Peridia from Ahsoka, we have to now all the minifigures, and thankfully LEGO have given us a lot to work with. So far this is the initial setup, and my plan is to remove all of those figures. Now that we've seen them, we can whack them in a pile somewhere else and try to split up this Star Destroyer and the Peridia Duel below. But when we were building the Star Destroyer on screen, minifigures first, before we touch the builds, we found 6 minifigures that would be the perfect replacement for the ones that come in the original set. The obvious replacement for Darth Vader is Admiral Thrawn here, who would be the Admiral of the Star Destroyer, not exactly piloting it, but one of the important crew members, and his right-hand man, maybe Thrawn's fist. The Emperor had a hand, maybe this is Thrawn's hand, in Captain Enoch, which is a custom minifigure I picked up a while ago. The one that does very well in this collection. Nice arm printing and leg printing. Balin's skull is also kind of included, not really on the Star Destroyer, but I felt like Balin and Shin should both be included if we did get a Thrawn playset, because we've only got their minifigures once before in the fighter playsets, and they're still on Peridia somewhere. Ezra, sneaking his way back, also is a fine addition to the collection. And to round it off, like with LEGO, I went with a regular trooper, except for this one's not so regular. Not only are they zombies underneath, but that trooper on the right also makes a perfect Ezra in disguise if we did want to get a different Ezra to the one included in the Peridia Duel. Or you know what? Having a gift with purchase with one of those little turtle creatures would be awesome. But so far, we've only got 6 minifigures out of the Star Destroyer, the Peridia, and well, I think that's it for the display. And thanks to Peridia being a really tall tower with a Star Destroyer off to the side, that means we've got a lot of space to cover. We're going to line the back with some troopers, but first let's take a look at the minifigures in the foreground. Ahsoka and Elsbeth are definitely necessary requirements from the original Peridia set, and though I have 2, I only have 1 copy of each of the minifigures. So alongside with these, I'm going to add the Sabine Wren minifigure from the T6, which did come out in a magazine. Actually, so did Ahsoka. The only minifigures I'm missing from that set are Huyang and Marok. But I find it quite funny that so far, only one of the Night Troopers actually has a weapon. Lucky for us, the Night Trooper Battle Packs has some blasters that we can steal. There we go. So uncivilized. A bit like our custom Huyang minifigure, that actually looks a little outdated. So I've gone ahead and replaced them with this custom Huyang that makes use of that old Grievous torso and just looks so much better than the old Huyang minifigure. Just like that Grievous minifigure, their 2 arms can split into 4, taking down many more troopers, and Huyang was left on Peridia in the T6, so it's only right we include him in this display somewhere. Maybe they snuck onto the Star Destroyer with Ezra. By the way, massive shout out to my fiance who actually painted the mould for this Huyang figure. I think it really completes the look. To distinguish between the Night Troopers of the Battle Pack, I swapped their torsos, which I realise also kind of means I only swapped their helmets, given that that would be an easier change to make than trying to pull apart the legs that are all completely the same. So we've got 4 distinct troopers, and if you were curious about the one that come with Peridia, I've given that one some dark red hips from the Wolves of LEGO Legends of Chima, an old theme that seems to have been brought back by Star Wars now, and they also distinguish them a little more from their regular counterpart. It's crazy sometimes at just how easy the modifications can be to make a minifigure unique. We see it enough with battle droids being released with 2 bent arms, with a different Lego brick on their back, and a lot of the second party, third party sites have it listed as an officially unique minifigure. So that got me thinking about these Death Troopers. Technically, we only see 3 at once in the show. There's likely to be more, especially around Thrawn. Probably got a few of these guarding his quarters on the Star Destroyer, just in case anyone goes snooping. And because we have 4 of these, if I grab my regular Death Trooper minifigure that has a helmet, that has a torso, and that has legs different to the Night Trooper, we can swap out each of those 3 parts with my 3 duplicate Death Troopers to make 5 unique minifigures. Honestly, sometimes you'd never guess that I have a degree in mathematics, but here we go. We have the Death Trooper with a regular helmet, looks different to the original. Even the Death Trooper with the torso looks different to the Death Trooper with a regular helmet. Both of those completely unique to the first one. Same with the legs, but in swapping out the helmet, the torso, and the legs, it then gave us a Death Trooper minifigure that is identical to the original one, because we've just taken the 3 parts that make it unique, and I guess it's missing the zombie head, but these are pretty much the same. So to make this Death Trooper unique, what I did is copy Lego and gave one a regular blaster and ended up giving the other one a sniper rifle. As I said when we built these on stream, check it out, link in the description, it was a great stream. This is technically 2 different minifigures because of the weapon in their hand. Okay, maybe not the minifigures are unique, but the situation definitely is. This guy over here, or zombie person thingy, is probably going to be shooting at Ezra, who is jumping miles away, whereas this guy's prepared for a bit closer combat. And there we have our minifigures. We've got these 6 dueling in the center of the Peridia space, in the Peridia rocky terrain, I guess. The bits with the spinners, they're going to be on the spinners. Ahsoka dueling Elsbeth, and Sabine can be fighting all 3 of the Death Troopers, holding them off at once. Then we have our Star Destroyer figures. I'm including Hyang here, but these are likely to be displayed in front of the Star Destroyer, but I do want them shown. And then we've got these troopers back here that will be around the back, filling in the empty gaps between the pedestals. Oh, and this guy's definitely going to be parted out. But before we wrap it up, we're going to need to display that Star Destroyer hanging over that platform very nicely so that the nose is no longer sticking out. I thought I had the perfect piece in mind, but I only have 2 of these really long bricks. They're about 5 bricks tall, and I can't remember where they've all gone. No, I do remember. Ignore those. I'm going to find them a home eventually. Here is my old modular Lego store. I kind of revamped this, and this is just waiting to be added to the next version of the city. But whilst I don't have a Lego city going, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these 1x2 bricks. I don't think we're going to need all 6. I only think we need 4, but I'm going to grab these 4 so that we have 6, including the 2 that I got from the drawer, just in case we need that extra bit of height to clear the columns. Probably attach this to a black plate so it's hidden with the units, and then I'll show you once I've found the center of mass so that I can balance it without fear of it knocking over. By the way, if you haven't seen the underside of the Star Destroyer, definitely go watch that video. This display's not going to be able to show it as clearly as when we built it. I'll also leave that one linked in the description. The Star Destroyer stands, and I decided to spread the legs out. Originally, they were just going to be on that plate in the middle, and then I thought about it and realized the further apart the legs are, the sturdier the Star Destroyer will be. Take a look at that underside. Again, check out the stream. You can see that kraken of a beast a lot clearer on there. In white to represent Thrawn's Chimera with all the different gold replacement parts and the scratchings and all sorts. And also take a look at how shiny that chrome ingot is. Gold chrome, that one. Probably the best looking of them all. But we do have the figures down below, all 6 of them lined up. I was wondering whether or not to get a base for them, but even shaking this, Hyang stands, I think that's good enough. The 3D printer isn't going to disturb any of them, and we also have all 7 troopers on. Don't forget, we still got the 5 players to add, the 5 characters to add in the middle. I think the middle circle and the back 2, I'm going to have Death Troopers spinning, and then Sabine somewhere in the middle of them, maybe off to the side fighting one of them, sort of hand-to-hand combat. And then just like when we took a look at the set and we improved the jump feature so that Ezra could actually fly rather than just flop down on the ground, we'll have Ahsoka and Elsbeth up the front. But I had to remove one of these panels so that we could get the display open and we could see it. So that's going to be parted out at a later date, and it reveals these red plates, these red brick plates at the front. So we're just gonna cap that off with a nice black slope, make it fit with the rest of the display. I'm honestly not fussed about these. It's an awesome play feature, these gears. I will be using them for a future project, but whilst they're on Peridia, I think they're gonna stay exposed. And with the final minifigures, we are ready to show off the display. So cut the lights, get the camera ready, and take a look at the action happening down here. I really like how these LED sabers work. You've still got the play feature of Ahsoka and Elsbeth, and then you also have at the back Sabine fighting one of the Death Troopers. But these LED lights, especially in the dark corners back there, the fact that they illuminate all the Night Troopers standing around Sabine facing on two of the Death Troopers, and then we have one that is incapacitated of some sort down there that Sabine has already dealt with mid-fight, because I like the way the Night Troopers fill up the gaps. There felt like there wasn't anything to the right because we have the two Death Troopers on the left, and I like the two troopers filling up each of the quadrants at the back. So the fact that none of the Night Troopers were out, there's definitely one of them I remember laying on the platform before this fight kicks off. I had to include one of the Death Troopers laying down. But Elsbeth, Ahsoka and Sabine with their LED sabers look so awesome. Happy to include these in another mock, and this definitely won't be the last. I think this display captures exactly what I pictured when I went into this, looking for a Master Builders Duel on Peridia display from the Ahsoka series, and I'll definitely be revisiting this sort of display when we get season 2 and for pretty much any other Star Wars content going forward. I think this looks great on display. I can take it down in a couple of months, which I also love. The wires I'm not too fussed with the lights because of how good they look as part of the display, bringing us right into the action. But I'd love to hear what you think of this in the comments. Do you think this has earned the Master Builders title? Or do you think I should have got another like 10 of these sets and built the wider ring of the Peridia platform? Because I didn't realize until I got some images up when mocking the two sets together just how big it is. I don't know if you can still see them on display, but maybe I have to get an extension lead and run some plugs behind there so I can have lightsabers lit up more often. I've just had a thought about lighting up the lightsabers in mechs as well. I've got to get some LEDs behind the necks, full sensitive mech that so happens to come with a lightsaber, or we could get the General Grievous mech. And if you do like the way I've designed Yang, perhaps you'll like this video on me creating the perfect droid. Maybe I'll improve it in the future, but until then, thank you so much for watching, and may the bricks be with you always.